And let's get about a minute of footage of that so I can analyze it. Because what I do with this is I'll take a screenshot and brighten it up to see what's actually in that mirror, or in that glass. It's like a full-blown figure in there, isn't it?
Earlier it had arms and legs moving.
That should be good. Just have to keep it focused on me. Just keep in mind that there are vehicles in here. People are walking through, just point it at a different direction.
So she can move it around, just not on the vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that's going to be hard to do because we've got 4 or 5 in here. But Wednesday, by the way, by the time we're getting close to the end of our night, it's going to feel like we have the whole city to ourselves. Like, it's going to be a ghost town, literally, around here. They roll the sidewalks up pretty early here. Anyway, this parking lot used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. It is super active, which is why I keep it at the forefront of our route. So, this is the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion site. Their mansion actually used to sit in the front of this space where basically the crane is and those 2 cars facing East Bay. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So that kind of gives you an idea of the layout. Now, who the heck were these people? By the way, this is the first place where I'm truly going to start withholding information, mainly for your part. I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn. So,
I'm not too close to the sidewalk for that?
Nope. Well, you have a 0.9.
No, it was 8.9.
Okay, I'll take the 8.9. So by the time you flip it to me, it's gone.
Yeah, it went to 8.9.
So I have to take your word for what you're seeing.
That's
so
right.
That's your new baseline. And don't give me anything below 8.9 now for this space.
So it's for each space it changes?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because it's already back to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you kind of swoosh through?
Yep. Somebody just kind of said hello.
Hi.
So, little disclaimer about this location. This location can be temperamental, and the fact that we need to be respectful while we're here. I change this up every year. So every year I take out a space and I add a new one, so that way my repeat ghost hunters don't have to see the exact same things and hear the exact same histories. So with this particular space, I was getting very disrespectful people on my tours. And they were basically like, come on, Eliza, let's go, and asking very disrespectful questions about her marriage, her children, and those kind of things. And we were getting very nasty messages back on the spirit boxes. So I gave the place a break. I came back, basically sat in this lot before a tour one night, told Eliza, I'll be bringing my groups back again, we'll be respectful, and I'll make sure I kind of give a disclaimer. But every single night before I meet with y'all, I actually come here and let Eliza know who I'm bringing and their names. I do it every single night. So, it's just that I know it sounds weird, but I do this for a living. I'm trying not to piss this woman off so we can continue coming here. I'm hoping that they're never going to put a building here so that I can continue to do this for the duration I'm going to live in Charleston. So, anyway, back to why we're here. Who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? First off, they had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. In the event you hear the name Charles or I get it on my word list, I need to know which one we have coming through. The secondary clue should be able to verify that. And there's always going to be something to verify which Charles it would actually be. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution. That's a big deal for South Carolina, but I hate politics more than everybody here. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. She's a much better story anyway. Which, by the way, you ought to see me during Women's History Month. Like, most of my route is mainly women. I don't know why. It just so happens to be that way. So, Eliza. Her story is a little different than what you probably heard around town, but here's how it goes. She marries Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. If we ask her how old she was when she got married, hopefully we're not going to expect numbers like from the colonial days that she came from of like 12 and 14, because that's when women got married during those days. So it sounds kind of sick and gross, but that's the way it went down. Think of today's standards if you're going to ask that question, because her husband was over double her age. And it's a creepy age gap back then.
Yeah, your grace twice.
And it's a creepy age gap now, just so you kind of have the inkling of thought of like what kind of numbers you'd be looking for. But anyway, she married him because her father was over in England where she's from. And he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all his children home one last time so he can see him. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. So she stayed put, got married. 1744. You don't get married in that particular year to get a green card. We're not a country yet, so it's not really a thing. So she gets married and she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to exactly where we're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been here for at least a day or two that I know of. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. All 3 of you are wearing it tonight. That's exactly what we use it for now. We use it to make blue dye for our jeans. It's pretty much the primary use for it now. Anyway, when she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She probably might be picking up some of the signs behind me if we're getting an anomaly already. That's pretty common for this location. Beside me. So she had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep these seeds cultivated because it's not always hot here, but you guys already knew that. So when she figured it out, she learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, and then got a hold of her dad and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That's something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are here. So I am going to check my word list, but I'm going to give you one simple set of questions to focus on, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can just focus on it, listen when hopefully you get the answers, or you can physically ask out loud. If somebody's going to help you, that's by using the other earbud, that's actually very helpful when you get a secondary person to listen in, so that way you can kind of see what's going on. But you guys are going to focus on her death. So she's pretty open about talking about it. You can ask her 4 major questions that we commonly get the answers to. How old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So again, these are 4 major questions that we get the answers to on a regular basis. So she already knows what we're going to ask. And again, I already came by here and told her all of your names. So if you want to introduce yourself again before you start asking questions out loud, if that's going to be your technique, by all means do so. The only thing I ask is that you do not, please do not ask questions about the children. So there are children. We're going to talk about them before we leave.
She's a mama bear.
There's a tragedy among those kids. And if we start poking that bear, then all activity stops, including the EMF range you've already gone. So,
The same way.
and she's, like I said, she can be a little temperamental, but again, we're here for
You
respect.
don't mess with a mom on her bed.
No, especially not the way this actually went. So, but we'll talk about that before we leave the space. So I will give you, because you have to imagine when I have my full groups of 12, there's at least 5 communication devices in play, and every person gets a different set of questions. We'll cover all of the answers to that based on the things that you're hearing. Again, it's just common things that we commonly get. So we are going to be spreading around the space a little bit. We're going to stick together. We're going to obviously, work as a team because you guys haven't done this before, and we're a small group. So I'm not going to just have 3 young ladies moving around the crazy parking lot and people walk by going, "What the hell are those weirdos doing?" By the way, we are the weirdos, right? So yeah, we're going to see other ghost tours around town. They're going to be much larger, and they're going to stare at you because you're, got blinky lights and gizmos and gadgets and recording shit. So again, we're going to be looked at kind of funny. Just expect that. That's what
She'll
happens.
look at him funny for that.
She'll bark at him.
Bark? Really?
Yes, she barks at
I
people.
don't think so.
I bark at her.
Okay.
This is true.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. All right, so, but yeah, I haven't checked my word list to kind of see where we're at. Oh, look at that. So we have athletic, quarterback, which is definitely a football term, and these are terms that we've already had.
Teammate. That's
Teammate.
football.
So you can kind of see where
Jason. Love is my bathing last name. Not that it matters. Jason's her daddy's name. Not that it matters.
Hang on a minute. So, Love was what name?
My maiden name.
Your maiden name. Okay, so it wasn't.
I'm Ashley Love Williams. So it's technically my middle name now.
I thought you were going to tell me like it was an ex-husband and his name was Love and it was a previous married name for you, and Jason was the ex-husband. Like, I didn't know. Like I was like, hang on.
Jason's my ex. It's her daddy.
Okay, what's his last name?
Norris.
Same as hers.
He's in the military or the National Guard.
Sometimes when you start seeing names of people that are still alive, that's somebody's way of kind of telling you that they're watching.
See, Kathy's my aunt's name.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, Kathy's still alive. Kathy just had a stroke. Jason's my father's name.
Okay. Well, we'll kind of see where else this goes. I don't see it going anywhere because so far the 2
I just
names
saw
you've
the
given me
name.
are 2 people that are alive, and they're not going to like start continuing, get
Now the
their-
Loves are known for being notorious bad people.
But I don't see that word a lot on here. It's normally coming out of there because that's a common song word,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
I don't normally see it here.
Loves were known for.
So I'm more interested
troublemakers.
in the word love because it's obviously your maiden name.
Back
So-
to Jesus.
And
Huh?
Back to Jesus.
That's what you heard?
Yeah.
so
You hear
we
more
started
than I
talking
am.
about Poppy earlier.
Yes. Poppy is not a love though.
He's not a love.
No.
Okay. Because that was my next question.
No, Poppy was the Williamses. I'm a love that married a Williams, but my grandparents, my mama's maiden name was Williams. There's 2 different sets of Williams.
Okay.
So there's a lot of Williams.
Interesting.
Yeah, we made sure. My baby's got outer toes and fingers. We made sure we know him. My dog's inbred, not me.
Anybody cremated?
That is what they better
she
not.
says she'll never get cremated, and if we cremate her, she'll come back and haunt us.
Yep. We had
She
that
won't be able
conversation.
to if she's been cremated.
It said there's
I'll
someone
do
right
something
here
because
the
they
whole
are
time.
not cremating me. You hear me? I do not do fire. I am terrified of fire. Do not cremate me. They know that. It's just weird that comes up in the song that I won't pay to my funeral. They were singing it earlier.
Yeah.
It said that there's a person right there this entire time.
Sure, it's not the sign.
No, but it says it.
Well, the sign's right there, so it's beside the sign. It's over that way, towards
It
where the barn's
won't
at.
go
You see
away.
where all the trees are at?
Yeah.
That's what it's picking up. I can
Okay.
see it from here already.
See, that's why you the pro.
And that's why it's also saying it's as big as the building. Like ghosts are not that tall. They're going to be our size.
Homie said, hey.
Just got the word thread. Interesting. Considering
playing with
that
the threads
indigo
on
was
my
used for
pants.
dyeing clothing.
Ah.
So-
See, that's why you're the ghost pro. I'm the travel
Well,
pro.
I also have a master's degree
Take
in
my hand.
creative writing, so words are my thing. So it's not like I'm stretching and reaching. Like that's kind of like we'll see, but I want something else to kind of verify it.
I'm hearing nothing that you're hearing.
All right, let's take a
Maybe
lap
it's because
around.
you're more
I know
observant of that.
I know that I'm listening.
Don't. I mean, you and I are probably the same damn age, but they're younger than us. They have
How old
better
are
ears.
you?
How old do you think I am?
I ain't going there. You going?
Come on.
Mm-mm. You think I'm the same age as you? How old are you, bro? That's what she
44.
calls for. I'm younger than you. I'm 39. I'm right there at it.
Jesus Christ.
You're getting a lot of religion.
Yes, you're
Oh,
gonna need
yeah.
Jesus Christ to saying I'm older than I am.
I'm getting a whole lot of religious.
8. But
I
think had
assume that
I had
because of the age
8.9
of your
earlier, right?
kids. So,
No, I had her when I was 18. I was a baby.
so 8. You said you had
I
something
think it
higher
was 8.7, 8.9 earlier, wasn't it?
earlier. I wrote
Yeah.
it down. Whatever
that
it
just
was.
went to 8, but it went
Baby,
back down.
baby, something's telling me.
All right, let's go find some hot
Somebody's
spots.
listening to some radio.
You're in charge, Mom. Let's move this.
To be fair, I'm probably picking more words out of country because I actually know their songs.
Well, don't look for anything. Just let it happen. Like that's the best advice I can give you. Don't look for songs you recognize. Look for shit you don't recognize. Something sounds weird.
8.4. That we already that's lower than what we said, so sorry.
All right, let's keep taking it. We're still in that same ballpark. And again, the hot spots in here change nightly, so I don't know like where things are gonna happen. I'm not leading you anywhere. I'm just walking.
So you kind of just like
Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna have close-ups of all my tattoos. Yeah, you gave me an 8.9 earlier. I'll take an 8.4. You just had a lot of religious terms, so I'm gonna put that in there. What was it?
what? North.
She hears Carolina next. Something's
Last
going on.
night, you lived on me. That's what it was too.
Field goals. What's up on the football stuff? Is it something around here? Football one?
Big John. We're still in close enough proximity. We haven't talked about bleed over yet, but she's giving us the proof right now.
I have an 11-year-old son too.
Where's he at?
13.6. It is still 13.6.
Got it.
It's 24.3. 42.1.
Thank you, Eliza.
63.
Eliza, what do you want to say to us? We're listening. Eliza, if that's you, you need to give us something a little bit more concrete than just your presence. We need some terms. You're asking about your death tonight, so why don't you tell us, a little bit about your death? Maybe how old you were, the other questions we asked. So you got up to 63. That's about what your TV puts on in a space where there's no electricity.
Wish I was somebody you never met. I think that song here.
Because your thing's making loops. Eliza, what do you want to give us? Give us some numbers, things that are relative to your life. We'll take your birthday, take your death date, your marriage date, how old you were when you died, how old you were when you got married, anything dealing with numbers. want to get some like direct footage from like just going through here, because she had a lot of that hot spot over there. Let's just see if something pops up that's obviously you can see where it's picking up all the different angles from stuff. So
Awesome.
20.4 right here.
take that 20. I would say your baseline is going to be 20 at this point.
Emily,
So anything
back
above
up a
that
little.
20.
Back up a little.
Some high ones. Let's make it 25. Then you have that 63.
I got this date.
This date.
I think I'm gonna cry.
You okay?
I'm a bit of an empath. Is that the right word?
Empath.
Empath, yes.
It's going to get even worse when I give you all the answers to the things I look for.
I'm one of those, if you cry, I'm gonna cry with you.
Yeah. There are certain movies,
5.6.
like because I'm a story person, like,
Yes, some sad faces over there.
well, like certain movies and even, you know, watching Disney films, like tears are coming. Like,
I will cry like a baby.
yeah.
My husband laughs at me.
My wife gets it. It's part of the reason why she married me, because I'm not afraid to show feelings and you know, whatever. I'm not a sports guy.
These guys didn't leave. I said, no, I feel it. They feel
No,
it. I can't
exactly.
do it.
It's like, shut up, I'm trying to be in the movie right now.
Like, I literally will avoid, because I listen to Audible a lot, avoid books that are sad. Because I cry so easily. Huh?
I do get the word family here a lot. Eliza, what do you want to tell us? We're asking about numbers. Numbers that are relevant to you. You are recording right now, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
48.3 every year ahead.
48.3?
48.3. Don't go nowhere near the list.
I got all about this.
Goals.
Oh, pen's done yet. I think I brought another one. Sorry, I gotta switch pens. That one's dead. These little guys don't last long.
So how many kids does she have?
We haven't gone over that yet. Oh, I'm not
Keep
gonna
getting
give you
a
an
lot
answer.
of honey. Wendy's.
Now, did all the kids pass away? Or just a
Well,
certain
eventually,
amount?
yeah.
Well, no, while she was alive.
No, just
Spiritual life.
if you're kind of getting emotional about this and getting real curious about some of these things, it seems like some of the terms she's getting more relative to Big John. She got like don't go near the whiskey, field goal, you know, those kind of things. So I think we need to like cover what was going on. We have some pretty decent readings there. Like I'm actually excited about this. This is me excited, by the way. Like you got it up to a 63. Last night our highest peak was 17. So again, it changes nightly. There's some nights you come in here and it's literally dead, like zeros the whole time. So it's not often, but again, it's one of those things. So let's go back to kind of where we can go over to this pad real quick. We'll cover the answers. Haley, you can stop recording and give your hands a break if you. I didn't realize you weren't recording. Sometimes with these small groups, like I forget to give you guys the cues. Now, in the event another tour is going to come through here, just so you know, they're going to come in either the same way that we just came in, because they won't be coming in from the opposite end. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or they're going to come out of this ivy wall right here. So we just kind of split the seas. We let them go by. Every tour tells the same damn story down here, which is part of the reason why I'm getting rid of it. I do love it, and this is one of my favorite places in all of Charleston. It is beautifully lit all the time, and it is the most serene place, and you're going to see why here in just a minute. But anyway, this location, I'm just going to tell you the story a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. It's not just a campfire marshmallow type of ghost tour kind of stuff. So let's kind of get into it, and then hopefully, and it gets really hot down here. So if I talk super fast, you're going to know why. minutes so we can get the hell out of here and go get the bleed over at the next location. So this is called Philadelphia Alley now. Easy to remember because that's where Eliza Pinkman's buried, right? But it used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur. So like take 10 paces, turn and shoot. Kind of, if anybody here has seen Hamilton, because normally when I have teenagers, that's usually the only reference I can give them. So anyway, are you a Hamilton fan? Okay.
No,
So
but
my
I've
daughter's a
watched
theater.
Bridgerton and they do duels.
Okay. Yes, I've watched all of Bridgertons as well. So, but anyway, so we all tell the same story of the same doctor. So here's how this goes. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl and that exact lyric, it's not coincidence, it's part of his name. We get it all the time. Anyway, he's moving down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney. And the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's cash. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So yeah, I told you she's going to have Tourette's all night long.
It's just funny because she's like, I don't want to know what you're saying. That's what I was like, stop.
There's been certain nights where if I've given a spirit box to, I'm sorry, somebody younger than Kaylee, like, they don't pay attention to me at all. Like, and that's perfectly fine. It makes it even better because if they start screaming things out because they have both earbuds in and they don't know what I said and it's relevant, that makes it a little bit more clear. And you're like, oh my God, what am I breaking? Did that get knocked out or did you do that?
I did that.
Okay.
No, I'd be freaking out. It was not me to do that.
Stranger things have happened. Anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd wants to move to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money, so that way they can get married. So he comes into town, and the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here. Somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. That guy's name, are you getting bit up?
Mm-hmm. But it's normal for me.
That guy's name is Ralph Isaacs, the guy that was walking by. I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. So Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters RI all the time on the spirit boxes, so I bought this new device. It's called an Envoy. It's basically a digital Ouija board. So it has a cursor and it moves just like your EMF. Anytime there's a fluctuation in EMF, it stops the cursor and puts the letter into a separate row to see if you can have something spelled out for you from a ghost. So every time I've come down here, I won't say every time, but I would say 5 to 6 times that we've had since we've had the device for about 5 or 6 months, we've had the letters RI show up whenever I bring up Ralph. So kind of take that for what it's worth. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells Dr. Ladd, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can stay there with friends, and they'll rent you a room and you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer, and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash. So, Amanda gets wind of this, she's moving down. Dr. Ladd becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. So ours is a doctor. We're going to get to all of the hauntings about his whistling in just a minute. Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money because he gets better seats. That's how the hierarchy worked back then. So they had to talk and discuss the plays afterwards. They're walking home one night after seeing Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're arguing over the new actress that was in town. The doctor thought she was great, Ralph didn't. Now, that argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. They get pissed off at each other, they go their separate ways. Ralph has friends here, he goes to the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of thing. Doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley, we're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. So that's how all got started. But they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, and the doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot his single bullet. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens. It's an air conditioner, you're fine. So I was looking for pee on the ground. Anyway, Ralph still has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die. He falls to the ground, pretty hurt, pretty bad. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. Why did he refuse medical treatment? He's a doctor. Gunshot wounds in 1786 are a lot different than they are now. He probably just tried to bleed it out, just trying to get rid of the lead poisoning. So that's kind of what they did back then. But he failed and obviously died, and that's the end of his story. However, every ghost tour will tell you to listen for the whistles when you're down here. Before the air conditioners go off and scare the pee out of people, it's pretty quiet, as you guys have already seen. So they say listen for the whistles. Luckily for us, we have a camera running plus my voice recorder. You don't have to listen to it for your own ears. If it's going to be there, it's going to be on an electronic device. If you're going to try this on your own, go all the way through the alley, because I can't take you down there. We're going to get into that, because I've actually been kicked out of here. That's the fun part of the story. And she's like, oh my God, who did we sign up for? But anyway, turn on your voice recorders from your phones and listen to it later. See if it pops up. So keep in mind, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single morning on my way back to my garage. So again, it's just something we do. So it's not going to be that loud. It's going to be very faint and in the background and almost sound like wind. And if you know that there was no wind that night, obviously you have something going on. So here's how I got booted out of here. This is the fun part. This alley specifically didn't always go all the way through from the way we came in. So there was a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is exactly why I stopped at this gate, so I can kind of give you that measurement. That means, well, first off, the reason why they did that is because this used to be where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So this is where they had cows and chickens and anything they would kill for meat and beef, right? So that means the bricks on the other side, all the way down by Queen Street, are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there. That means they literally had to turn those bricks in the sun so that way they could bake, and become hard so we can walk on them, right? So there's a full handprint from a slave kid down there and some fingerprint swipes and others. Pretty sad story. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave, but I used to go all the way through this alley when I first started doing tours around town, just to show the history, to show how far we've come away from slavery, all right? It's not anything ghostly for me, just a nugget of history for Charleston. That kid's not there. November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the devices that I gave them. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm trying to shoot them along because it's also outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm trying to be respectful. I didn't know I was out of bounds. So we're only allowed to go in certain areas after hours. So I did not realize this. So the new owner of that mansion came out screaming, and my daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving. You already know I worked for Walmart for a long period of time in upper management. I don't do Thanksgiving ever again. And I'm sure you don't blame me. The next day was November 28th. The dates are relevant. I'm going to get to it. I called my partner that I had at the time and I told him what happened. He laughed at me. He said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway or you got to reroute the group. So I decided I'm going to reroute the group after I told him this story outside the alley. Because I was like, just trying to avoid this guy altogether. So, at any rate, so what I told them was, I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen there, and I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Obviously, the next story is going to be pirates, so in case you haven't caught on to that. So they're like, okay, but before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I had a full group of 10, it's Black Friday. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating, the famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, oh shit, maybe we got something. We get over there, I told them a little bit I did know about pirates, and then somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means. I write it down. I look it up the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So, I normally get the, okay, I can see where that connection is. I was actually pissed off. Here's why. Master's degree in creative writing. Everything needs to come from like facts, data, truth. You know, I need something, even when I'm writing fiction. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the alleged fact of when they actually occurred. So trying to piece together a pirate piece of Charleston to make sure it's factual for what we're doing out here is very difficult to do. That's why I have to give away half my damn library right now because we just moved probably 15 boxes of books on pirates that I had to read to make sure everything I'm doing is accurate. So the next location, hopefully we're going to get things from here. Keep that in mind. But hopefully we're going to get things from Anne Bonny as well. The history over there is very interesting for sure because of the way I pieced it all together. You can continue recording along the way if you want to because we're just going up and around the corner so that way you don't have to stop it. Again, did you get any readings in here whatsoever? And anything weird coming out of yours?
I got 23, but that was it.
23. The doctor was 22 when he died.
I got mosquito bites. Oh, I got 23
Those are
mosquito
not
bites.
anomalies.
I got 23 mosquito bites.
Yeah.
Look, if there's a bug that's gonna bite you.
I'm just used to it.
I'll make sure to give you a 3-star if it's a bug. If I need to give 4 stars because of that. What the heck? Really? So stupid. But you can control that.
But at the same time, I'm just going to point out a certain age group that that person belonged to, where that would be a complaint. And I was okay with it. I'm sure you read my response.
Oh yeah.
Like, if that's
It
the
was
only
a
thing you
great
got,
response.
I'm good. I'll take the 4 stars. Thanks.
That was a great response.
So,
Because
but
I'd have
that's,
been like,
so we'll talk along the way, but I want to get us out of this hot alley. Did you see anything on the camera or were you simply focused on me?
Oh, that is.
Okay, nothing on
I
there?
didn't see anything. I couldn't listen.
Alright,
That'll
perfect.
we didn't make it till 11.
It is super hot in this alley. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's probably get Dr. Lang for the So, 2 nights ago, I had to cancel my tour for the 4th night in a row. Was not happy. So I texted my people, like, sorry, it's inevitable, we're gonna get burned out. Now, right now, let's rebook from another rainy night. The rain is like, using electronics. Yeah. So, like, that was crazy. And I live in Holland. It was crazy out there. So, at any rate, my wife says, how are you going to respond to this? Because it sounds like you don't want to do it. Not to mention, my livelihood is in the equipment. If it gets wet, I don't work.
So we can get electrocuted
Right, that too.
out here.
Not to mention.
And then it would be angry.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say, how are you going to respond to that? So if I respond to things, next time you're here on a Friday night, you'll come see the very high-tech equipment that we use during these investigations. Very much a good process. Have a great night. I'm very like,
And they just release the
it's more like still one of those. You know what I mean?
release the lesson and keep on going. So I found to stay out of school. That's my problem.
I have history left.
Did you read my Weinstein review?
Why was it going to buy it?
Yeah, same thing. Circumcising Viagra was the same company.
Okay. I'm probably
I was wondering why you keep it on Viagra.
Well, it's new. I mean, I'm not used to that. Because I don't usually book like small things like this. I use it on the first one. Because most of my clients going through Disney or
So I will request one free and 4 years of this. Every sentence that they write in that review, I give them 1 paragraph. Apparently, more than 1/3 review about something you didn't understand. So when you go back, go dig for that 1/3 review. It's hilarious. Like, no, listen, I don't know how to do it. I was like, that took 3 days for me to come up with what I wrote that wasn't angry. Well, I also make sure I don't do the same thing. Because I'll do it angry. And then as a business owner,
I'm also a woman. It's a big more than one day good.
well, even at that age,
Not that old.
what was it?
Not that old.
You can understand I'm not that old.
Not a gold thing, apparently.
Exactly. See? You're knocking on the door.
And again, that was strictly based on the age of your children, just so you know. She gotta take it personally.
I'm gonna give you one star review.
Go ahead.
Guy thought I was old.
Thanks. Now you're calling me old. Wow. That's okay. I'll respond right back. And I had one lady. Oh, you'll see this review too. Sorry, I'm telling you about all my past customers. This lady was great. She was the most argumentative person I'd ever met in my entire life. Everything was everything, kind of thing. Like the history left and not that old and all those things. Those were all something to me. She was trying to make mountains out of molehills, and I'm trying to like get her to like not everything's gonna be paranormal. Like relax. And then something came up with the color green. Like so we were talking about an Irish woman. It's all green. And something popped up with green. And then something popped up with a clover. Whatever it was. Everything was green, 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 green. So her text back to me was all green hearts. Son of a bitch. Her review left a green heart at the end of it. And I was like, and I texted her back when she sent me the, hey, thanks for taking us out kind of thing. Like, just text me back when I'm back at the office. And she put a bunch of green hearts. I'm like, you are such a smart ass. Love
I'm
it.
totally gonna put a green heart on.
It's gonna be a new thing. But I almost started putting those on my TikTok videos just because, again, green is my, well, I'm not wearing my logo tonight, but everything's, you know, a certain green. Anyway, back to Kaylee's getting bored. Let's get her back to work. So, welcome to the Powder Magazine. Everybody talks about that building, and we're gonna be talking about it, but just in a much different way. Here's how this goes. Have you been recording the entire time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I still gotta get her to talk. Sorry, I'm trying to like,
Good luck.
include her. She's giving me the head nod. She's got eye contact. Like, I know she's focused. Like, it's just, is she retaining it? Is she SpongeBob, just taking it all in?
Yes,
So, okay.
that's
Good.
her.
Is that the way it works?
Yes.
But she's not going to tell me.
No, that's how she is.
And you raised her that way. Because you're the influence. You know that, right?
Negative. They are night and day different.
But it's always the older sister that's the influence. Or you learn what not to do. So that's the way my kids are. My youngest one is doing exactly what my older daughter is not doing. So anyway, back to Powder Magazine. When we walked up, you seen the crosses on the side of the building?
Yes.
Those aren't crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. They're part of the reason why we're here. Earthquake bolts, if you don't know what the hell they are, well, I actually have those in Wilmington somewhere. But basically, they're turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, like what we talked about at the beginning, you can turn them. There's on both sides of the building, and it'll tighten the building up so it doesn't incur any further damage. So it's a good idea, just doesn't work. The only reason I bring those up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston even put in. Even this apartment building behind it has earthquake bolts in it. That's what those peachy type squares are. They're earthquake bolts. They just go through the floors of every single floor of the building. But the reason why I talk about those ones specifically is because the first set that they put in, because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. And it's funny that you said not that old, but that is literally the oldest building in South Carolina, government-wise. So it was finished in 1713. We're here because this building was being built at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So you guys watched, what was it?
Chris.
Who the hell's Chris? Family member?
Client, he's getting on the ship with us tomorrow.
Better be alive.
Well, I hope so, which, I mean,
You paid, right?
no, not unless he gets on that ship, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. He better be alive.
He better be alive.
Overboard.
But I'll
So,
still get paid to be on the ship.
on your TV shows, you've seen the Boo Buddies where they have that teddy bear with the little blinky light K2 meter in it. So they use that because the child would recognize it as a toy. Kind of think of that concept with this building in Anne Bonny. We don't have many buildings this old, so it's something she would recognize. So I call this a familiar, which is the same thing as that Boo Buddy for a child. Anyway, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But anyway, our history begins right in the middle of it. Try to follow me, there's a lot of twists. If you guys get lost, just ask Kaylee because she's laser focused. So, 1708, young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? There's a couple of twists here. I'll slow down and make sure everybody's got it. So dad has a girlfriend, and then they have a child together, which is Anne. Got it? The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. Got it? He cheated on the wife, had a baby, they ran away. Okay, so by the way, gotta love loud tour guides. Even when I have a group of 12, like this is how I talk. Like, you gotta, I'm not a screamer, so.
Kind of hover around and make sure you hear.
Yeah, I know, but they also take 20 people, and I don't do that. So, they work for companies. I keep it nice and small and intimate. But anyway, back to Anne. By the way, how pissed off was that wife that she booted him out of the damn country? So normally if I have gentlemen in my group, I tell them, like, be nice to your ladies because they'll kick your ass up to Canada. So, and we have airplanes today. They didn't back then. So anyway, they landed in Georgetown. You guys know where that's at, right? Between us and Myrtle Beach. So dad bought a plane.
Passed the wrong way here.
Yep, you had to cut right through it. And it's a stinky town. That's what me and London call it. That's my daughter, London. But they bought a plantation, and mom dies pretty quickly once they get there. So now dad has to send young Anne down here to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat because there's not much going on in Georgetown. Hence the familiar building. But back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass pastor. Or do you have a church? So we get, I mean, you guys had a lot of religious terms by the Pinckney Mansion site because they were a religious family, and they actually belong to St. Philip's Church. But when we're near St. Philip's, our tallest steeple, is when they really start ramping up. So we'll kind of see how this goes. If you get a lot of religious terms, you can just hang on to them. So we don't need to write all those down. I didn't write all those down. I just wrote down religious terms because they're a religious family. But anyway, Anne, when she was like 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing's ever going to be exact. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So again, little girl kills a servant. Like, chick was a badass. That's a rumor. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. Oh my God, fix your damn car. Thank you. God, this is so annoying. I hate when that happens. See? Gotta get a Lord Circle out of you.
Because she was thinking it.
I know, right? So I was just reading your mind. Is that okay? Yeah, she's like, okay, good. Lost my train of thought. So the first guy that comes down, that she falls in love with, is James Bonny. Again, now you can kind of see where this one's already going. Dad didn't approve, they ran away, they got married, and now Anne Cormack is Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, when they got down to Jamaica, she realized her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a coward. He's a privateer, a spy for the British. So a few more years go by, she falls in love again. And by the way, there's a handful of suitors in this, and this what's make the whole damn story so damn interesting. So kind of keep that in mind. Wrong guy number 2. Guy number 2 is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character on, just so you guys know who this is. He has his own ship, he has his own crew. And wants to be part of the crew, but you can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Think family friendly, Mom. Okay, you guys don't know why. It's bad luck. I know where your mind was going. That's why.
I went that way too. I was like,
Most people do. But anyway, he makes a deal with her.
She's gonna be tore up.
Yeah, exactly.
4 ways of the wood.
I know, right? And that's normally because when I get little kids, I'm like, guys, you got to think family friendly, and I put that question like right in the middle to make sure everybody's paying attention. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of it, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She knows it's a man's world, and she's good with it. She's a pirate. Let's go. But keep in mind, she's a female in his quarters. Put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that Jack let a girl on the ship. He drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby, come back later, and we'll figure it out. So she goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. I've read more pirate books than I've ever wanted to in my entire life, and still don't know what the hell happened to that baby. Interesting point of the story is, she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry, because now he's going to know he let a girl on the crew. So, to make him even more mad, because that's who Anne is, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured down below deck. So she goes, the wrong guy number 3. Okay, trying to keep tally for you. Guy number 3 that she's flirting with turns out to be a female, just like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females, just like males, on the same ship. I know, it gets very confusing and twisted. So, this young lady's name was Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, we're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They're pirates, they're going to get arrested. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks, kind of like the dueling pistols we already talked about. So, obviously 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to take on a whole bunch of ships. They get arrested, and as they're being arrested, she looks at Jack, her captain and beau, and says, "Sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on our spirit boxes, which, by the way, I haven't checked on my word list in a while. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so violently on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. I know, history's long. I'm getting to the end.
No,
So, I just see
it's
that.
saying a lot, but nothing important.
Okay, and that's you know of. Remember, I'm withholding information. But the 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. So they both scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're both claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail. I know, kind of smart lady, right? Delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina. He bails out Anne only, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Even older than Eliza Pinckney at the age of 70. So, same time period. So kind of put that in perspective. Now, Mary Reed, she dies 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Most books would tell you something simple like fever. I'm going to say make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? So, here's what I'm going to tell you of what I left out of the pieces so you had something to work
I
with.
don't remember everything we said 3 times.
Is that what it just said? Remember everything we said 3 times?
We've said it
It said it
2
3 times.
times already, and it just said it a 3rd time.
It said it 3 times.
Can I see the funny spirit box just to make sure? Yeah, we're still going and recording. Okay. Sometimes it'll like do weird stuff and go to the SD card and play a previous thing, but only like a 10
I mean, I
second
know what
snippet.
this song is. It says it a lot, but
Okay.
it said it 3 times, and it only says it like about 3 or 4 times in the song.
So somebody's trying to remind you to remember everything I just said. So here's what I left out. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and his mistress. I left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. I left out the name of the city she grew up in Ireland before she came here, and the color of her hair. So let me take a look at the word list, and those are the kinds of answers that we normally get. I got the name Adam as soon as I open this up. I just want to
My brother-in-law.
We're getting a whole lot of family in
So
there.
I'm getting a lot of stuff on here. We just haven't been watching it. So going back to Philadelphia Alley, we have Amanda No. Remember, that's the doctor's fiance. So I'm excited about that. There was something in here about drinking.
Drink right there.
Is it drink? Yeah. Lawmaker, Ralph Isaacs was an attorney. Okay, so I'm excited about that.
It's the order I call you in when you're not paying attention. So
Mom.
But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. The Amanda thing and the lawmaker, like those are two for sure. I don't know who the hell Chloe. And we were talking about Miles. Son of a biscuit. Look at that. Interesting. Okay, so we're up to about 57 terms. Lord Liberty. Definitely, this wall is not your friend, just so you know when we're spreading out in here. This is a very safe area, so we can spread out. Just don't film other tours as they walk by. Most people will look at you like, what the hell's going on anyway? But yeah, let's spread out. So you continue listening. Your device, the closer you get to the corners, you have electrical poles. So don't
Stay back this way.
Yep, always on the back half. Okay, they might have to give you a job later. You're pretty steady with that thing. She's like, I'm down for that. You just got to talk to people, though. That's the problem.
She's not good at that.
Could you tell stories like what I'm doing tonight?
I don't know.
You don't know? You're not good at memorizing things?
I am.
But could you recite it back and not get confused about what story goes with what?
Probably.
Okay. Not easy to do. My daughter's tried a couple times with these stories. Like, I'll let her tell one or two. She screws it up every time. She's like, no, that's the other story. Why are you getting these dates mixed up? My back out. She actually came down and carried my back. Like, came down every night and when we were done.
And then I got one a couple seconds after that. Surgeon. My wife won't take mine because I use gel pens. Because of how fast I write. My wife is left-handed. She's not using gel pens.
Probably smear right on through.
Yep, exactly. So I know I'm not going to take them.
Any of those men will take it there.
My wife works for Banfield. So there's Banfield pens all over the damn house. So
That's the animal
Yeah.
hospital?
Yeah, she's going to school. Like when we moved to Louisiana, she's going down there to get her PhD so she could be a vet.
Okay, cool.
When she got in it, she's basically just a receptionist. She's helping at the back.
2023, but that's the year we're in, so that's not important.
Yeah, throw that stuff away.
My dog Bill got through it with it.
Yep, same way. But she actually has the stomach for it. She has the heart for it. You know what I mean? She loves it.
Well, somebody's got to do it, right?
But her master's degree is in animal behavior. She wanted to learn more about diabetes. And, she wanted to learn more about him and that kind
No, I can see very clear.
Yep. She should be keeping one person in there so we have something to verify for size, shape, and that kind of thing. So even with you sitting down, it's perfectly fine. We still have we're not going to have a post as tall as the damn building.
I might my yard to come anyway.
Yeah, well.
Homie is dancing.
What do you see dancing?
Haley's scream.
Oh.
The only thing it's getting is these trees over here.
We get weird. This is not thinking inches. So we will get like little 3s, a 5, maybe a 6, here and there. Very rarely have I seen it go over a 7 or 8 in this location. And she's actually not getting much either. Like I don't know what any of these numbers mean. I'm gonna dive into because there's like 15 stories on this corner alone. Every tour comes here for something. So I know them all. So I keep links to verify things. In the event we get like 2551, I need to know what the hell that means. So I don't know what the hell that means. But we have caught somebody sitting on that garbage can over there with their legs swinging, and then we went over and we actually had an EMF reading after they disappeared. It was almost like they left a little bit of residue behind. We got it up to like a 5 or a 6. And that was the only place that we had EMF in here at all. And we verified because what happens when we find something, I walk behind it to make sure we have a point of reference, and I stop directly behind it to make sure it's not going to be the post.
They're back.
It's been there the whole time. It's a tree.
What is it?
Okay.
The tree's right there.
She said it's a tree.
Yeah.
Where?
Right
Like
there.
I see the
all,
tree.
all the branches everywhere.
And again, if it's weird, I'm going to take a look at it. 'Cause that looks awfully tall, so she's
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. She's got this. You guys all use iPhones too, I take it?
Yes.
So if you have a newer iPhone, you can get that app because it'll have LiDAR already built into your iPhones. I can tell if you have the 4 camera on the back of your phone, you have LiDAR and you can use that app just from your phone. I just have the upgraded version so I can record with it for you guys. So, but what we're going to be doing later at the next location is made by the same company as that they just put out. It is freaking awesome. So I can't wait to show you guys what we're going to do.
I only have 2.
To
have
what?
How old's your phone?
Very.
Oh yeah, you don't have it.
She hasn't upgraded me in a while. She just got upgraded, but I don't know how many's on hers.
What?
Well, I don't use Apple products at all. Like that's the only Apple thing that I touch. Like I don't even touch my daughter's phone. Like no, I don't.
See, I like Apple because that's what I know.
Can't.
Now,
Like, I had
client
to
of
have her
mine,
come on
she
the
has a
tour.
Samsung, and her pictures are amazing. Apple does not zoom in like her Samsung.
I
Julia?
actually. Oh, we got more things. Interesting. I actually have a Google. Like I have a Pixel.
Okay.
Have you ever seen what this thing does with pictures?
I've heard, but I have not seen it.
Be a little crazy. We do have the word baby, and I will explain that before we leave. We also have the word roses. I will also explain that before we leave. So let me show you what this camera will do.
What's this financial one that's got something to do with all that money? I mean, all the numbers should be popping out.
Might be. It's a possibility. Not
Our
off the top of my
region.
head. No,
Could be
I just
region.
don't know. But until I actually dive in and see if it's relative to either one of those 2 things, because those 2 things are separate. Where the hell's my camera? So let's go to the church steeple. So you can see how far away it is.
Somebody was in there smiling, you would get it clear as day.
Yep.
Well, yeah, with my phone, you just get like blurred and wonder what it was.
So just to show you, it also has all that erase stuff in there. So if I take a picture and I don't want that tree in there, I just tap
Okay.
on the tree, poof, gone.
That's why people get on those sites and people, that's how they're able to erase stuff. Okay.
Yep. I use it all the time for social media stuff.
So I need to do that erase. I have a bunch of baby pictures and years after that.
You can actually take old pictures and still do it. You just upload it to certain things and it'll get rid of it. I can also get rid of like phone lines, like any electrical wires in it. You have to like fine tune it, but it'll find it and get rid of all of them just by one touch. It's awesome. Anyway, so anything else crazy coming out of yours? Because it seems like I'm getting more than you. Well,
I've gotten adventure a few times, but
if you hear clapping, you know you've been on a cheesy tour. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. All right, let's go over to the wall so I can set the bag down. Stop it.
I told you were in for it. a clap emoji at the end, beside my green heart.
So, anybody need to have a seat? By all means, do so. We're going to be here for at least another 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, we'll sit here. But anyway, so remember I told you about that little heated warning at the top of the night? This is part of the reason why is this location. About a year and a half ago, I took my group to the back, just the same way we started. You can stop your video again if you want to give your hands a break. For their TikToks, so go ahead and film that for them.
My father left home.
Okay. Do you have it on there yet, Kaylee? Okay, so you have the ready at the bottom.
He went away.
Okay, so now you should have 3 circles.
Yes.
Okay, so you need the one on the left.
It went away. Now it's all smooth.
Go to the back button. I want to make sure we're on the right mode.
How?
Look down. You should have a
Scripture if I can't have.
hold it there.
It was a family
Now
friend.
there's a bunch of little letters everywhere. Moving everywhere.
Letters.
Maybe numbers, maybe little lines. I don't know. They're moving really fast.
You got pictures moving?
Doesn't look like it.
Oh yeah. You want to go.
One more time.
You hit different stimuli. So yeah, go back to the smoke if you can. That's the other arrow, the opposite of what you're eating.
It's not arrow.
I'm gonna reset this.
Passover again.
Switch face. Sorry. Back. Reset this all.
This is recording, right?
Yep.
On campus.
Arrow down, and then when you get the 3 circles at the bottom, you're gonna want the one on the left. It'll say seer. S-E-E-R. Okay. She gets focused in. Looking to speak with Henry Timrod. Can you push through and tell us your occupation, please? She started at 11:08. You got black smoke, Haley?
What?
Black smoke?
Not yet.
Okay.
Right.
And click ready. Then 3 circles should pop up. You need the one on the left. Is it hard to see it?
Yeah, it's all like blurry.
Okay, so there's a, right here in the center, there's a little dial. So move your hand to the center, over the top. There you go. Turn that dial until it's not fuzzy.
Okay, there's a big star.
Perfect. You got pictures of it, so stop. Okay, you can turn that dial till it's comfortable for you.
Say something.
Henry Timrod, can you push through and tell us your occupation, please? This is Emily. She can hear you. You know how this works. These are the same boxes we use every night. Henry. Let's stand nice and close. People get weirded out when I'm blindfolding people. Henry, can you please tell us your occupation? What else is on that star, Kaylee?
There, it just popped up. There's like a screen looking thing with like a half sun.
Okay. Henry, is that a clue that you want to talk about your son? That's a yes/no question. Oh, she's like super calm.
Is that good or bad?
Oh yeah, she's falling asleep. It's bad.
She doesn't fall asleep easily. That's her.
Worship pastor.
Henry Timrod, can you push through? If you're not Henry, you need to tell us who you are. Give us your first name, please.
So.
talk about what happened to you when you died? Do we want to talk about that? You want to give us some clues to kind of show us that you're here with us tonight? You know, we do this for a very short amount of
Right.
time.
Matters most.
Henry Timrod, I need to know that you're here.
I don't want to leave.
I'm not asking you to leave. I'm asking you to communicate with us. I'm trying to learn more about you. We had this conversation earlier tonight. We're here out of respect. Henry, push through and tell us something very simple about your life, like your occupation. Better yet, tell us what we're hearing right now. What sound are we hearing? Emily, you can't hear me, correct?
Whiskey glasses.
Whiskey glasses. See how this can be silly? Henry, what sound did we just hear out of the church? They're both scratching their left leg. Have you noticed that?
Mm-mm. But I'm kind of covered.
They're both doing it. Like, she'll do it and she'll do it. Hey, Kaylee, have you felt like spider webs or anything on your leg? Is that why you keep scratching your
Reaching
leg?
and
It just
reaching.
itches.
Henry Timrod, her face is getting a little flushed. Might be from the heat. Henry, please tell us what sound we just heard out of St. Michael's Church. What sound was that? It's been 6 minutes already. Super quiet. Is there anybody else here with Henry? It's just a simple yes, no.
Loaded.
Loaded. How many?
Whiskey glasses.
We're going on. It's a country song.
She's saying stuff she recognizes.
Right once again.
Something just hit me on the top of the head.
I see like
What is that?
it's like a TV screen. It's all like digital stuff, like a bunch of like little pixels.
Okay.
Looks like a lot of red.
Like, that's not water. It's like sap.
A lot of red.
A lot of red.
Yeah, like maybe like an animal.
It smells like my sweaty head.
It looks kind of like a red
Johnny.
wolf.
What did she just say?
Mm.
Missed it.
3599.
It's almost my phone number. 3995, not 3599.
Henry,
Worship.
we're losing time. You got to give us a few key terms that are going to make sense to us to show that you're here. Just telling us your occupation like you did yesterday, that would be fantastic.
Doing good.
Is that a cue that you want me to talk about your wife? That's a yes/no question.
Greed.
Greed.
Agreed. Do you want to talk about your wife? Henry, are you still
When
with
the
us?
dead stopped.
The dead stopped. Henry, we're running out of time. We only got about a minute left.
843.
That's our area code. I throw those away. Just like the word Charleston. She's listening at Charleston radio stations.
Slide
Kaylee,
a little closer.
no more images?
No, it's just like I'm in a solar system
Oh,
and
man.
closer and closer, like the sun, like a bright white spot.
It's probably weird. I should probably switch the background.
She said slide a little closer.
Judges, different times.
Henry. We're running. We got about a minute left. Just a simple term of your occupation will give me enough proof for tonight, and then we'll call it quits. Does it sound like a good deal?
There ain't nobody.
All right, Henry, we're going to say goodnight. Can you say goodnight back to us? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and tap her leg. Haley, go ahead and take off your headgear. Let's see what we got going.
So is that just one of your regular size at the end?
Huh?
Is that one of your regular size at the very end?
Yeah, why?
Okay.
I didn't realize that I did it.
You did. Pretty big. So let's take a look at these images.
I had no clue that I did it.
Well, usually you're aware of it because we usually fuss. Just breathing.
Did you see this? That's part of the group that things you would have seen. That's from last night. That was the last one. And then this should have been the first one for tonight.
That's what I saw. It looked like a half sun. The half sun over there. So it looked like.
Like a room of some sort. Like looking in from
It was a lot
patio.
more zoomed in. All I saw was like a half
I didn't
sun.
even
like a
realize that I sighted
sky
one.
in that
Like
side.
throughout the whole time, I was like, let me not sight you.
Well, it was when he was counting down to tell Henry that we were stopping. And then you were like,
So this looks like a kid's diagram of a heart next to some kind of heart.
Yeah, that was
Monitor.
a lot more zoomed in. It just looked like a outline of a wolf right there with all the red. And it would start off like little pixels, and it like gadget like zoomed in on it.
As you can see, it looks like almost like some kind of medical monitor
Mhm.
below it. Like looked like little kid drew this. So I don't know what that means. You can go ahead and stop your video. And now.